So yesterday we learned that a US manufactured Patriot missile defense system, which is employed by Ukraine, came under fire from a Russian missile strike. Now, US officials have confirmed that there have been some damage, but they assured us the system was not destroyed. We don't know the extent of the damage, but both Washington and Kyiv are actively discussing how to best repair the system, and it seems unlikely that it will need to be removed completely from Ukrainian soil. So it wasn't a catastrophic strike. Now, according to Ukrainian officials, the system itself did not fail. It was more of operator targeting failure. Essentially, the Ukrainians were given a 2-month crash course in Texas on how to operate the Patriot missile system. The Ukrainian operators in this case set the Patriot to auto-shoot everything, and the Russians fired more missiles than the Patriots were available to intercept, essentially overwhelming the system. For the record, the intercepts that the Patriot missile battery did engage resulted in a 100% kill rate. And in fact, the Patriots have had a 100% kill rate to this point thus far in the war in Ukraine. No missile defense system is going to defeat an attack that brings more missiles to bear on the system than the defense system carries itself. That's just simple addition there. You just run out of missiles and they shoot more than you have. It's going to cause kills and damage. In this case, the Patriot battery seems to have been damaged, if only in a minor capacity. However, this brings up a broader point I want to talk about. With this 100% success rate in combat, one has to wonder if the U.S. is really going to be willing to re-engage Russia over the anti-ballistic and anti-tactical missile treaties we have traditionally been a part of. This may be the day the anti-missile nuclear arms controls that we've previously been a part of are going to completely die, at least in their previous iterations where the U.S. and Russia were seen as being on equal footing. That is no longer the case. The U.S. has demonstrated the capability to intercept Russian missiles even when they're in ballistic status of their glide path. Russia doesn't even come close to this capability. And why is this? Well, because the U.S. allocates about $20 billion per year on missile defense alone. To put that in perspective, Russia spends $132 billion on its entire military. Of that $132 billion, $9 billion is on its nuclear missile delivery program. And these successes in Ukraine were achieved with the Patriot PAC-3, one of the older systems in our arsenal, although it has been maintained through continuous updates. The U.S. also has the ground-based mid-course defense system, as well as Aegis, which is the first and only missile defense system to consistently intercept an ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile. Oh, and then there's THAAD, or the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, which successfully hits intermediate-range missiles. And the newest iteration is the THAAD-ER, which ER stands for extended range, so it's going to become even more capable. And those are the systems that we're aware of and currently operating. The future could be quite different. So imagine for a moment that you are a Russian nuclear strategist. Today you're confronted with the stark reality that the Western air and missile defense systems have demonstrated that they can intercept all of your tactical nuclear delivery vehicles, even during a time-coordinated multi-vector attack. The success here naturally raises the question about the strategic nuclear deterrence that Russia and China carry. Now, before you get into we can intercept 100% of all missiles all the time, intercepting a multi-launch intercontinental ballistic missile attack presents a different set of challenges and may never be completely feasible, but it raises the question now for Russia and China of what if. This thought of what if is indeed looming larger today than ever before for those countries. Incidentally, they're questioning now, what if the U.S. could survive a first or even second strike nuclear attack because of its defense systems? This means that mutually assured destruction goes out the window, and now you are looking at a nuclear superpower that can not only stop your nuclear weapons, but can easily deliver nuclear weapons to your doorstep. This has never been a part of the equation before in its entirety. I'll talk about how it was a strategy in the Reagan administration in just a bit. Without a shadow of a doubt, both Russia and China are reassessing their strategic capabilities in light of these developments. The expansionist hawks in these nations have received a stark lessons in the realities of modern combat, and this will trickle down to future policy and treaty decisions made with the United States with regard to nuclear missile defense systems or nuclear missile proliferation or even any kind of re-engaging of strategic arms controls or nuclear treaties going forward. This has happened before. Reagan used the Strategic Defense Initiative to bring the USSR to the negotiating table because the Soviets believed the US could intercept and stop their nuclear weapons. At the time, in the 1980s, we actually couldn't, but now it seems we can do this. And this seems to have both Moscow and Beijing somewhat shaken. With the U.S. having the upper hand in these negotiations going forward now, with the ability to at least say, hey, we've done it in combat, what else do you think we can do with our more advanced missile defense systems? Russia and China now have to somewhat reassess their place in the nuclear world here, as they may not be as nuclear dominant as they previously thought.